penultimate session of the afternoon. So I hope you've enjoyed today. It's been some fantastic content. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Laurence Malthouse. I'm the Solution Sales Director. I'm joined here today by Charley Adams, our Customer Program Enablement Manager, and also Thomas Connelly, our Operations Director. And over the next sort of 30 minutes, I'm going to talk you around the evolution of our managed networking proposition. And we're really going to look at that through three different lenses. The first one's technology, the second one's operations, and the third one is service. And we're going to talk a little bit how our investments in these areas are now driving value beyond traditional managed networking. So I think it's a good place to start. Let's put a bit of context behind this. And managed networking, well, I guess the first question is, what is that? The way I see that, these are the building blocks. These are the key network foundations, the WAN, the LAN, the Wi-Fi, and the security that enable our customers to execute their IT strategies. And actually, in line with our relatively recent portfolio rebrand, these services, when combined, fall under Gamma Solutions. And hopefully you've had some time to go upstairs to our experience zone and talk to our colleagues up in this zone. So Gamma Solutions, they're really aimed at the public sector and enterprise. These are sort of relatively complex solutions. When they're knitted together, they form a managed service. And it's not only Gamma IP and Gamma product that we rely on. We use specialist third-party technology companies and deliver these services back as an end-to-end managed service, proactive monitoring and alerting, and a single SLA. And clearly driven by the jewel in our crown, our customer advocate team. Shout out to those. They are your voice within our company, within Gamma. They drive transformation. They build trust. As we've heard today, trust leads to productivity and also increased performance. And it's great to see so many of you here today. So let's take it back. Technology, operations, and service. We'll look at technology first. We've only got limited time, so I'm actually going to focus a little bit on SD-WAN. And actually, if you recall, 12 months ago, Richard McPhee was up here talking about software-defined services, and he was saying that they are the future of managed networking. And I think, if you look back about what we've achieved over the last 12 months, not just with our customers, but also with new prospects, we've certainly seen that rapid adoption of software-defined services as customers are now looking at traditional MPLS networks, looking at traditional hub-and-spoke architectures, and also looking at data center real estate, and potentially looking at moving applications out of the cloud. But why now? And we've covered a lot of these today, but they're all highly relevant when it comes to customers looking at software-defined services. So digital transformation, we all know that we're going through some type of digital transformation currently. The rising demand for cloud services, and also the rising fears of cybersecurity challenges as well. Now, I think there's no doubt that enterprises are actually transforming their applications, adopting multi-cloud and SaaS services. But it's interesting to hear what David was saying before, and actually customers now appreciating how costly it is to move those applications into the cloud, and through some of the conversations we've had with vendors, looking then at actually purchasing CPE and servers on-prem within data centers. So it'll be really interesting to see how this SD movement goes, whether we're going to see true internet-based services, or whether customers will be slightly more reserved and still want to have one leg in an MPLS core and run more of a hybrid type of networking. I think that will pan out over the next 12 months or so. But clearly, we've spoken about the PSTN switch off as well. Now, that is a key point in our destiny. That's giving us the opportunity to rethink our networks. And it looks like SD may be the chosen way. So what are Gamma doing? We are innovators, and we need to stay ahead of the curve. Our customers rely on us to challenge their thinking. So we need to be looking at our products that we sell. We need to be looking at our partners and also the acquisitions that we make. So from our product set, I think most people in the room who take WAN services know that one of our key benefits is the ability to knit in multiple last mile providers into our core network through network-to-network interconnects, giving them that absolute blanket coverage. And over the last, 1 or 2 years, it's very much been around fixed line services. And you've heard today how now we're looking at 4G, 5G, maybe not for a primary connection, but certainly a second connection. And also now our ability to provide Starlink and satellite services on a case-by-case basis is going to completely change the way that we look at that last-mile connectivity across our estates. The Cisco play has been massive for us over the last 12 months as well, and you've heard how we started deepening that relationship across networking and security as well. Now, we build our entire sort of SD overlay proposition based on Cisco. This is both Meraki and also Catalyst, and we're now pushing that as well into the LAN and to the Wi-Fi space. We're also relying on Cisco, looking at their extended security portfolio and integrating that into our own, and also looking at some of those peripheral services, such as CCTV and cameras. We have a lot of retail customers out there where things like heat mapping and staff protection is really, really important, and we can embrace that now. And the last area is really Satisnet, Gamma Secure, our recent acquisition. I don't think I've had any conversation with any customers recently where I'm talking about networks and security hasn't come into the conversation. And actually, in a lot of our customers, those teams are now also coming together, whereas before they were very separate areas of an organization. So we're starting to have conversations about SOC, about SIEM. We're starting to talk about gap analysis. And we're starting to talk about SASE. And how we integrate SASE with our existing SD services to provide a very dynamic network security solution. So what does this mean? It means that if you wind back the clock, we used to be right at the edge of our customers' networks, but now we're a lot deeper into our customers' network. And I actually think this is starting to change the role that Gamma is playing within our customer-supplier ecosystem. There is a slight shift in perception, and that shift is one that doesn't just focus on technical problems and solutions, but as a company, we can start talking about business problems and also suboptimal processes. Now, this will ultimately lead to a lack of observability across your states and an inefficient supply chain. And we're having those types of conversations. So the value really is now talking about people and process. That's taking up quite a lot of airtime now, as opposed to simply technology. So what are our customers asking for? We want to simplify and speed up our business. We want you to integrate into our company ITSM tooling. We want you to simplify our supplier system. And we want you to provide that end-to-end service. And our managed networking proposition has now got to adjust to adapt to those types of conversations. Now, it has to. And although technology ultimately underpins these conversations, and we can't forget that, it's our grasp of our customers' business problems, these problems that you're seeing here, and our value shared services, which are ultimately supporting our customers' growth and is driving positive outcomes. So I want to hand over just at this point to Thomas, who is now going to just expand a little bit on our operations and our support function within Gamma and how they're evolving that function to tackle these types of conversations. Thomas.
Thanks, Laurence. You wouldn't believe the conversations we had yesterday about handing over the clicker. And we got it right. So I'm Thomas Connelly. I'm the Operations Director for Enterprise Markets and Public Sector, a role that I've been in for about 8 months now. And for those people I haven't met yet, I've been in the Operations Director role for Enterprise Markets for a period of time, and I probably haven't met quite a lot of you, and I apologise for that, and I'll try and rectify that in future. But I've actually worked for Gamma for 16 years. 15 of those years were on the network side, really. I managed the network operations teams who were responsible for the management and maintenance of the Gamma network as a whole. When I worked on the network side, and latterly as the network director, one of the things that I was involved in, and anyone who's ever managed a network or a telecoms network, you're also responsible for data centers. And when you're responsible for data centers, you start to learn how much power it takes to air condition a data center and how many sprinklers you need to cool a data center. All very riveting stuff. But I'm from an operations background, and I was really missing being at the coalface of operations. And when the opportunity came along last year to potentially move into the enterprise side and work with Dave and the team, I had to really start to think about, well, if I took on this role, I applied for this role, what difference could I make to our customers? Because from a technology perspective, and interestingly, I was actually at GX last year as someone in the crowd, and I was just as interested as anyone else. But from a technology perspective, we've already heard today about the evolution into MPLS, into SD-WAN, the security services, the launch of Smart Agent. So from a technology perspective, being from a technology background, that was really interesting to me. So I ticked that box, that was fine. But when you start to think about, from an operational perspective, joining a successful operations team, what difference could you start to make? And that's when we started to land on the strategy of a value. How can you take service operations and technology and really build on what a managed network is and the value you add from a managed network? So one of the strategic goals that we have, and I'll go on to the next slide and I'll show you that in a bit of detail, but a bit of a history lesson in terms of, we talk about it, we're now moving into the value era. We've moved from what I would say the productivity and the effortless era, which we've all felt the pain of, which is high volume, low value support models, where the main driver was people answering the phone in as quick a time as possible and getting people out of the IVR. Now, one of the challenges of that is that there's no real understanding of the business, there's no real understanding of the solution. It's really just, it was really just about numbers. And I think we've all got, stories to tell of, poor customer service and poor experience through those eras. We've now moved more into the loyalty era, which is probably where we've been for the last few years, which is, it's being sticky with customers, it's providing multiple services, it's really, working with customers to grow our business and their business. But it's still quite transactional. It's still quite, we'll provide a solution and we're there when you need us, but it's not necessarily forward thinking, which is when we start to think about, well, what's the value era? And what's the things that we can add as a service provider to the value to you as a business? So, people who work for one of my teams will groan at this because I show this all the time. It wasn't always a wheel, but when we met our friends at the AA, it was a list, and then we presented it to our friends at the AA, and then it turned into a wheel because it made sense, obviously, to turn it into a wheel. But since we've started working for the last 8 months, we've started to think about, for us to add true value as a managed service provider, these are the strategic pillars that we work towards, that if we get these right, then you'll get the benefit. And also, as important, our employees will get the benefit from this as well. So, some of the things that we've been doing, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'll talk about some of the things that we've been doing to drive some of the value. The first one is multi-channel. You've heard at various points throughout the day about Smart Agent. Smart Agent, we've now adopted Smart Agent, so probably a week before Christmas last year, we knew we had to get off of our existing contact center platform because it was going into life, and we made the decision about a week before Christmas that we were going to move to Smart Agent as our contact center platform. The Smart Agent team then took that and turned that around in 2 months. So from the beginning of January, we went live on the 1st of March. Smart Agent now becomes a game changer for us because it will change how we deal with customers. We'll start to introduce things like web chat, things like WhatsApp integration, AI, and also the Amazon Connect contact lens platform. Now, we heard earlier about, the voice of the customer and how customer services, the CSAT scores are starting to reduce across the industry. Using something like Amazon Connect contact lens will let us get real-time analytics of the customer experience. What you're saying, it will pick out sentiment, it will go straight to managers and team leaders so we can start to drive our contact strategy to support our employees and give you a better customer experience. So Smart Agent's a game changer for us. I can't promise that they would roll it out for anyone else in 2 months. They did an amazing job, the whole team. But it will hopefully change how you interact with us and move us forward in that. Automation. So this is a big one for us. Probably most people in the room who take a network service from us will have access to Highlight. Highlight are upstairs today, and Highlight's a key tool because it lets us monitor your estate and your circuits, and it gives you access to monitor your estates and circuits. Now, one of the drawbacks of that is that we, as an operational team, get a lot of Highlight alerts. A couple of months ago, we got 6,000 alerts in a month that we then have to deal with operationally. Not all of those auto-close, the vast majority will, circuits going up and down, but we have to deal with those 6,000 alerts. Now, you met Colin Lees earlier, who's a CTO. So we had a business problem. How do we make ourselves more efficient when dealing with the Highlight alert? So Colin Lees and his team took that away as a problem, and they started to look at automation. So we've introduced a tool called Big Panda. Now, Big Panda is an alert aggregation tool that pulls all your alerts from different systems. It's a network tool rather than a customer tool, but it pulls all the alerts from your different systems, and it helps to drive efficiency into the teams. We've reduced the Highlight alerts that we receive from 6,000 to 2,000. So a 60% reduction in Highlight alerts. Those 2,000 we're working to reduce further, and Colin and the team think they'll be able to reduce that by a further 80%, which means that we'll have, just shy of 1,000 Highlight alerts that we'll deal with on a monthly basis, which means that we're more efficient. And when network incidents happen, it just means our teams are more efficient and we can start to deal with those issues rather than looking at a lot of noise from Highlight. The next part is the customer-centric part. So anyone who previously, took LAN and Wi-Fi deployment and support from us will know that LAN and Wi-Fi support we outsourced to a third party. As of March this year, we brought all that in-house. So all the LAN and Wi-Fi deployment and support is in-house in Gamma, which again, that's a key initiative for us because then that helps to drive the value that we provide to you as a service. And finally, education. So this is a passion project of mine. I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but 1, I'm Scottish, 2, I'm from Glasgow, and our main operational office is in Glasgow. But I haven't always worked in the Glasgow office. I used to work out the Manchester office, but I moved back to Glasgow. And one of the frustrations from me when I lived in Glasgow and worked out the Glasgow office is that whilst we were in the Glasgow office, and we've been there for 20 years, we didn't really have a presence in the city. We were in the city, but we weren't working with the city. We weren't working with any of the universities or colleges or any other businesses in the city to try and get the best talent into the business. So I wrote to all the universities and said, we want to partner up with you. We want to really drive the value and relationship that we've got with you. So very recently, we launched, you might have seen it on social media, we launched a scholarship program through Sarah Cutton, who's our ESG director. Now myself and Dave have put a lot of groundwork into that over the last 12 months to get us to that stage that we can develop that relationship with Glasgow Caledonian University. So we've launched a scholarship program, and we're looking at how we can get the best talent from the city into our business, and also we can start to develop our existing staff through the university as well. The other part of that is this week is actually Glasgow Tech Week, so we're partnered up with Strathclyde University and Glasgow Tech Week. Again, it just helps us build a relationship with universities in the city so we can get the best talent and we can start to build that operational centre of excellence that we are aiming for in Glasgow. And finally, so just in terms of a summary, so if you take anything away from today, what we're working towards is adding value to the relationship that we've got with you as a supplier. We really want you to think of us as partners. We want to work with you to grow your business. We don't want a transactional relationship. We want to work with you so that we can come in and understand your business problems and work with you to deliver solutions to what those problems are. This is at the forefront of what we do, and driving customer satisfaction, driving employee experience is really where our strategy, the focus from our strategy, and you'll hear more from us in the coming weeks and months around that. Obviously, if I haven't spoken to you, I'll be here all day, I'll be here tonight, and I would love to come and meet more businesses directly, and we can arrange that as well. I've probably overrun, and I'm going to hand over to Charley now, who's going to talk to you about how we deliver those services.
That was a long walk. Right. Okay, so I'm going to be talking through the professional service element of our lovely triangle here. So I want to start off really by just kind of bringing you up to speed with kind of who I am and why I'm on stage and why I'm going to be talking through project delivery today. So I've actually been at Gamma now for 12 years, and 10 of those years I worked as a project manager. And in the past couple of years, I've moved into an enablement role. So I now work very closely with our sales and our pre-sales team to help design and structure our new and existing customer opportunities. So I feel very fortunate that I've had a 360 view on what our customers want and what they need from their professional service offering. And equally, this has really helped us evolve our project management team at Gamma. So I'm going to start by talking about what I think our customers want from the themes that I've seen over the years. So I think one thing to start with is that I have seen our customers now want a personalised delivery plan and approach. Our customers need their plan to be adaptive, flexible, embracing change, and that's really collaborative. In my personal opinion, rigid waterfall deliveries are now a thing of the past. That's my personal opinion. I also believe as well that you, our customers, you want an effortless delivery experience. You want the Gamma delivery subject matter experts to lead you and guide you through your delivery process. You want us to provide solutions and not just problems, right? And you want to be able to access those project updates and your documentation at a click of a button. Really just allowing you to get on with your day job. So I guess to summarise, my experiences have taught me that the magic in a good project management experience lies in the synergy between delivery adaptability, good communication and collaboration. Obviously, everything I've just said, it's not revolutionary, right? It's quite basic, but these things can be overlooked, especially when you're in the thick of delivering projects. So it's really important at Gamma that we stop and we listen to our customers and we try and find out from you what it is you need and what you want from us, because your success is our priority. So I'm going to talk through now how we've evolved our project management team and how we've listened to you, really. So onboarding. It's really important to understand that the project team is not only here to deliver projects successfully, but we're actually really responsible for ensuring your smooth integration into Gamma. Over the years, I've sensed a nervousness from our customers, especially those that have been in project for a long period of time. And they're worried when they move from the project team and they transition into these business as usual teams, that the knowledge and the information that you share with us during that time on your project and your solution will be lost, and that you as our customers are going to need to invest more time bringing our business as usual teams up to speed. So, importantly, we've listened to you, and we've now actually revised our onboarding process. So the project team are going to be engaged now very early on in the sales cycle. So the project team are going to work very closely with our sales and our pre-sales team. And this approach is going to allow you as a customer to understand your upcoming transformational journey in more detail. But importantly, what it's going to allow us is to gather valuable information about your environment, your users, your challenges that you face, and that information is going to be retained. It's going to be shared with the wider business before we start the project. And importantly, that information is going to be referred to and maintained throughout your time at Gamma. We're also going to continue working very closely with our customer advocates and service managers throughout the delivery journey. And this is to ensure when you get to the handoff point, so when you transition from projects into BAU, that knowledge transfer has already been completed. I really do believe that if we get it right at the start, it lays the foundations for a really great partnership. So, another thing that we are improving at Gamma is the experience. So obviously, I've mentioned our job here is to deliver projects well, but customer experience is at the heart of what we do. Gone are the days of managing projects via email and phone calls. We want to get to know you. We want to get to see and feel how your business operations run. Over the years, I've learned that once we've had a deeper understanding of your environment and the challenges that you face, it helps us deliver projects far more efficiently and effectively. I actually recall spending a day at one of our customers' gyms, completing one of their new HIT workout programs, and it was a really fun experience, and I quickly learned that I wouldn't be applying for High Rocks anytime soon. But what we did learn was how the ground team operate and what the end users expect from the service, and this made a really great impact on the delivery and the service that we provided. We also recently spent a day at one of our customers' abattoirs. Now, it was a very insightful trip, but I'm not going to go into any more detail today. So we're now actively encouraging our team to get out there, to go and spend a day and a life in your shoes. And that's not just doing all the fun stuff like gyms and abattoirs. It's actually getting out there and seeing your space, sat next to you whilst you work, going out there and working with you through router installations and migrations, because I truly believe that if we understand the full journey from start to finish, it helps you, but it helps us. So the message is, please do invite us to come and work with you. We'd love to. So let's get connected and be good together. Another point that we've looked to improve is communication. So I've mentioned it earlier, and I think it's fair to say we've all seen a shift in the way in which we're communicating over the past few years. So from my perspective, our customers are embracing a digital experience. They want to communicate with us over smart apps. They want to reduce the email traffic and the time spent on unnecessary phone calls. And they want to be able to get on with their day job. I remember one of our customers actually said to us that they wanted their project updates in the form of a Domino's pizza app. They wanted to see the journey. They wanted to know when we placed the order, when that order was baking, and when that order was going to be ready. So we've taken that inspiration and we've actually invested now in a project management tool called Monday.com. So this tool is a secure portal where you can log on and you can see your project updates and you can get your documentation at a click of a button. We're also investing a lot of energy now in our lessons learned process. We're encouraging our teams and our customers to share their experiences throughout the delivery journey rather than just at the end. We're really trying to create a culture of continuous learning and skill development. Driving the customer experience beyond delivery. So I'm sure when you've all been working with large organisations, you can often get caught up in the large corporate policies, procedures and people. And that could be confusing from a customer's perspective, right? So what makes us different at Gamma? So the same delivery team will be with you until the end. So this ensures you've always got a familiar face that knows you and gets your business, as we know how important that is. We're going to continuously review and evaluate our delivery processes and procedures based on your feedback. And this is to ensure that we, as a business, deliver you the highest value and the customer satisfaction. And importantly, this is something that you guys have fed back to us, is that you share the feedback. Are we learning from it? So what we're going to be implementing is knowledge sharing. So that will be happening throughout the delivery journey to ensure that all teams are informed about your solution and delivery requirements. Okay, I'm going to try and wrap this up very quickly. So what else can you expect from us this year? So we are going to continue investing in our people. We're going to be growing our team and our capabilities. At present, we've got a team of 18 project managers, and in the coming months, we're going to be increasing that to 25. We're also going to be enhancing our PMO. We're going to be standardising and streamlining our processes and our standards, which will increase efficiency and productivity. And finally, Monday.com. It's a live portal. I'm sure some of you are using it already, but you're going to start to see more enhanced dashboards and trackers, and that's going to give you some really great MI that you can share with your stakeholders. So finally from me, I hope what I've shared with you today shows that we're listening to you and that we feel really passionate about getting it right for you. So please come and find me today and share your feedback with us. I'd love to know what we can do to improve as a team. Thank you.
Right, I'm in trouble now because we're 1 minute 45 over and it's flashing at me. So look, I'm just going to summarise really, really quickly. Now, clearly I'm going to say this because I'm a sales director, but we are at the forefront of managed networking services, and I do believe that. I look at our competition, they look at managed networking as a commodity. They talk about siloed products, they talk about reactive services, they talk about product for term. We don't see it like that, not at all. These are the foundations that will enable your organisations to build and deliver their digital strategies. We've spoken about technology and how that's evolving and our expanding product portfolio. We've spoken about our investment in people and process. And I think I just will leave you with this. Now, we are a people organisation, and I know there are many prospects up there and also customers, but please come and see us up at Glasgow. The team that Thomas has brought up there and built is second to none. You need to prod the people, talk to them, because ultimately your decisions are going to be guided on cultural fit, not just tech. So I would just leave you with that thought. But thank you, everyone, and I will hand over promptly. Cheers.